Alrighty, welcome back. Alright, so we left off last round. We had cleaned up the entire gun model in Pepakura so that there's no stray polygons in here whatsoever. Now we can actually begin to work on creating our patterns for the gun. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the smaller pieces just because I think that's going to be a little bit easier. So we're going to go into Join, Disjoin, Face Mode, Control N. And this is where it gets fun. This is where you get into a bit of some artsy-fartsy stuff. Let's see here. Actually gonna connect those at the top. Alright, so now I get to look at this gun part in here. Ah! It's no longer a black screen! Yes, it has been fixed. Sorry about that. Alright. So, looking at this, I think the only face I don't want to keep, I need to get rid of that. So, fun fact about this tool. You saw me working over here. You can work over here as well. So that's one of the great things about this is you can just go ahead and get rid of that because, for instance, I'm not going to need these parts when I print them out because they're on this side of the magazine. We've connected all that. So basically we have all of the symmetrical parts done. So now that we have that, this is actually, if you look at the title of the stream, I'm working on cosplay. So, we're unwrapping Oscar Mike's gun so that I can build it in real life. So, for instance, back to this. I separated this piece from this piece from this piece. So this piece is now a trash piece. That is a symmetrical piece to this one right here, which we only need one of. Or, no, we need two of that, so I'm going to move that down here. This one we only need one of because this is the center of the magazine. So that's going to stay up here in this single object section. So let's go ahead. We already know what we need to do with the trigger here. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Trash. Boop. And let's see. These kind of details are fun because it literally depends on how you want to build the object, which depending on how thick the object is. So for instance, this could be one piece of foam. And I think I am gonna do just that, which means that I don't need any of these depth markers here, which is what those are. I have music this time. I found something that's not going to get taken down on YouTube, and hopefully not on Twitch either. Alright, so I have this all together on here because the way that you want to think about how you're going to use your pattern. Because you aren't necessarily going to use the pattern literally. In this case, I'm not going to cut out all of these slits and cut together a 1/10 of a millimeter and glue that in there. No, I'm going to use that as an actual straight pattern for this piece. I'm going to cut that out of foam, and then I'm going to cut this off manually, this corner edge, so it has that little lip to it. I will not be using a 3D printer, Kalulu. I will be doing this by hand. I could 3D print it, but in that case, I wouldn't need to do all of this work. And I like to use materials that are not plastic. It's lighter, more durable, and I won't get in trouble for smashing somebody in the head with it because it will not hurt them, because it will be foam and squishy. So this is done, and it's a singular piece, and this piece is now trash. So that piece is done. I'm going to go ahead and move these up here so I remember that they're done. This guy, this should just be depth on this piece here. double check here. Yep, that's just depth on that part. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Trash. What is this part? This little guy right here. Okay. I will be playing the game later, by the way. If you're interested in watching the game. Just right now, I am working on this. Let me put these together just so I have that there. So, I need to understand how this works. It looks like if I detach this here, put that there. Look guys, it's a puzzle. Exactly, it is a puzzle. This is just the depth, so this is going to be something I don't need, and then I think what I'm going to do... This is a small enough piece. I should have mentioned, sometimes I actually will leave the little 1-inch box in here, and sometimes I'll leave a 1/4-inch box in here, just so I have a measurement to measure other things by, so I know that, oh, this is a 1/4 inch, this is a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, full inch. So I didn't do that this time. I may go back and do that later, although there's a lot of small pieces on this one, so I probably won't. But I think this is going to be a small enough piece, I only need half of this. However, the polygon isn't split in half, so I'm going to do that manually in the next program or in person. Or I could just use a thinner piece of foam and then fold this in half. Glue it to itself, so that's fine too. So this is now trash. I'm going to leave this up here in the 1-person pile. And let's see here. This is that fun piece right there. Let's see how I want to work on this. Yes, you can fold foam. Cross-linked polyethylene is the foam that I will be using. I think I want to separate these. Let's go ahead and disconnect that. So this is one of those, and I think what I'm going to do is same thing as the other piece here. I think we're only going to cut out half of it. It's such a weird... I'm going to sneeze here, give me a second. Oh goodness, okay. So this piece here should be the side of this. That's gonna line up with that piece. Take a look at... So I'm trying to puzzle out how I want to unfold this object, based on if I actually want to build it like this. And I don't think I am going to build it like that. I think I'm going to cheat. I think I'm going to take this, and I'm going to do the same thing as the other side. And I'm going to cut 2 pieces of foam out in that shape and glue them together along this line. And then just shave off the backside of that and maybe the backside of that to get that shape. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and reconnect these parts here. Just so, again, no loose pieces just floating around, and move that in the trash. So, yeah, I'm going to need only one of those printed out. Maybe. Alright, have fun, Clulu. This guy. Pretty sure I'm gonna only cut out 1 piece of this. This is a really, really simple little shape here. That's the depth of that. Boy, you can't win with this one. It's an odd number. All the way around, so I'm gonna have that ugly piece there. What is connected here? This? So I'll just cut out an extra piece of foam here. Well, actually from here over. And same thing, shave from here to here so that I get that shape. So I'll have 1 piece of foam here, which I'll cut down around the edges of, and then 1 piece of foam here, which I shave down that to there. That should work. And that'll give me my little safety knob there. Only 1 of those. Trash. Okay, let's get on to this bugger right here. Alright, so there is a backside for this piece for no apparent reason. Gonna connect these here. Hi Dwarf, welcome back. I love when there's just random parts that have trashy little bits all around them. It's great. I don't need that. And I think it's got this little nub here. So the thing about this little nub is when I go to make this in a laser cutter, or I print it out of paper or whatever, I am going to manually cut that nub out of the foam and create that kind of gap. And I'm not going to do it with the pattern. Like, I'm not going to fold this down and do all this other stuff. I'll have to make a video of it on YouTube of techniques to get effects in foam. So how to get this kind of like slit in the foam is you literally just take a razor blade along this line in the center here, and then you just use your heat gun on it, because it will make the edges pull apart from each other. So this side will pull back this way, and this side will pull back this way, and you'll have your perfect little gap, however deep your cut is. And I don't even need this interior part because you're not going to be able to see it with that there. And the foam's going to be thick enough to cover that up. So I don't even think, I think that's probably it. This whole leading edge is just, that's a line for me to cut the foam again at an angle because this is such a small piece. If it is a whole, like if for some reason this is just a large amount, which I can't see this being more than, there's got to be less than a 1/4 inch here. If it was a large piece, then I would just cut this out and fold this piece down so that you got that angle on it. It's really a simple operation. So here we have our trash here and our one piece that we want to keep there. And we get to get on this fun piece. I've been kind of interested in coming onto this one because it has a lot of repeating parts. So I'm going to start off by getting rid of some of this trash here. This guy right here is going to become, let's see, did I want to get rid of that? I think so. Let's combine that one there. That's a nice straight edge there. This is going to become a pattern for all 4 of those fins, which I'm just going to cut out of a single piece of foam and glue on the end of this. Super easy. This hole here, I'm probably going to cut out a hole on the top piece of foam and then just put a piece of foam on the inside of it. Super easy. This is trash here. Look at this nice little dandy fan here, Dwarf. A heat gun is an invisible flamethrower, Dwarf. Not a lame flamethrower, an invisible flamethrower, which automatically makes it cool. So if I had the foresight, I could have separated these fins and bridged these gaps so that I have a cylinder to base everything else off of. And that may be something that I rebuild here at the end. Like I may not use this pattern for the nozzle, the gun nozzle here. This is thick enough, it can just be a single piece of foam. That'll be our nozzle. We'll just have a cylinder of foam. I'll cut out these side pieces. I'll put a piece of foam on the inside, a very thin piece of foam so you can't really see it from looking down in the nozzle. And then I'll just put my piece of foam on top. Super easy. In which case, I will not be using this pattern here. However, I am going to clean it up just a little bit. Let's go ahead and attach these back up. I will leave this piece here because this is usable. Whoops, forgot I gotta go this way. Boop. Alright. That should work out. So I'm going to keep this piece separate from my trash pile. I'm going to actually put that here. That's trash. I need 4 of these, so these are multiples. I'm going to keep this separate from my trash pile to remind me I need to rebuild that in Max. I basically need to build this cylinder myself and get that ready to be cut out of my pattern. So I have all of these individual pieces here. We have this guy here, which may not stay in this format. Like this is, you know what, this is okay because it's got that nice slit down the inside of it. I'm probably not going to keep this, so that's kind of a waste. Let's take a look here. These two pieces are intersecting. Okay. So that's something I need to pay attention to, is that can't sit there. I'm gonna remove this piece here. It's gonna get added onto the trash piece. Oh, no, that's not trash. Has to go in individually. There's not a piece to connect it to. So this is gonna be a flat piece in here. This is up here, and I think I'm gonna get rid of that piece too. I may leave, what I may do, let me reattach that. Remove that. Remove that. I think for the sake of laser cutting, still not sure if I'm gonna laser cut this project or not, by the way. We'll find out as time goes on. In the case of laser cutting, I want this extra thickness on the foam. So I'm going to reattach this piece as it is here. That way it hugs the foam, I get the thickness of that. When I get into laser cutting, I'm going to delete all of these lines, so it only cuts out the outer edge, and then I need to remember that I need to slice this edge off so I get this nice angle here. Same thing with that one. Yep, same thing with this here. It all just gets cut out after the fact. And then also this needs to be redone. Normally I'm a little bit more observant when I have a bunch of intersecting parts. Alright, so this is a much better, as far as like getting the pattern for laser cutting, this is a much nicer pattern. Not really worried about this here, although I would like to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and that's fine. Again, looks nicer for the laser cutting, and this gives me a nice straight edge here, which will end up probably lining up. I'll just connect this line with this line. I don't even need this in here, and I just need to remember to cut that out again. Whew. Oh, my allergies are really getting the best of me right now. I'm gonna sneeze again. Okay. So now I have a pattern there, and we have this guy here. Boop. And what is this guy here? Is this that guy right there? And these stupid things. If I double click this, yeah, it'll kind of take me to it. Kind of. Like it tries to point the thing at it. This is such a weird piece. I think what I'm gonna do. Okay. That's an edge. That's an edge. That's okay. So this is again, this is my top piece of foam, which I would angle these bottom pieces down by trimming. And then this guy right here is so thin, I think I'm gonna cut that out of 2mm foam. And I think I'm just going to cut out that little square right there manually. Maybe I'll cut this out here, like right, should be the end there. It's such a minuscule amount of anything right here. It's so tiny. This piece and this is so tiny. It's a tiny, tiny detail on the gun. All this is the edge. I don't need any of that. Trash. So this is going to be 2mm foam. That's going to be my 1/4 inch foam. I'm going to trim down the edge there. This is just going to be sitting on top of it. I'm not even going to bother making a solid layer underneath it. There's no point. This guy. I only need... Let's see. This piece and that piece, and the rest of that is trash. Again, 1/4 inch piece of foam here, although this is probably going to be supported because it's such a tiny piece and it supports this entire fin here, these two pieces. I may make that out of Warbler. I may make that out of something that's going to be sturdier than the foam. At the very least, it's going to be rigid. I'm going to apply something to it to make it rigid. So let's go ahead. I'm going to keep these pieces separate. This piece right here. Another minuscule little piece of the gun here. I really don't. All these tiny details, like this little knob here. Oh my gosh. I'm not looking forward to getting to that. I think that'll be it for that. That piece is just done. Again, cut out piece out of foam with the laser cutter in the general shape, and then this outside thing I just have to trim myself. And that's the depth. Don't need it. Don't need it. Trash. Need 2 of those. This guy. The back piece. This piece is going to need to be split up here. So I think what I want for this one is, this is going to be a base of foam like so. I'm not even going to cut out the hole out of it. Yeah, a lot of people call me Nats, and I'm actually going to use this base here, now that I think about it. Because I want the wider version, since I'm going to trim down to the smaller version there. So this is going to be my trash here. The base on the back is going to be my actual cutout piece, and then I just need one of those sides so I can cut out this out of foam. Sounds good. And if it's not making sense now, it will when we get to the point where we're cutting out pieces. One of the reasons I'm cataloging the entire costume build is so that if someone has a curiosity, because every single piece, Ganasty Ganorg, Ganats, every single piece has its own challenges that are associated with it. And if I only explain how to do a specific part of it, people are going to have questions about, well, how did you do this piece? In this instance, I can just say, hey, just watch this part of the video. When I get to it, you'll see what I do. I'm really, really not looking forward to this right here. This is trash right here. Okay, I don't need any of this junk in the middle. Like I said, I am going to just solder the hole, and it will just exist. Don't need any of this junk. Although I have a desire to clean up these objects so that I know what they are if I come back into my trash pile. Sometimes I have a tendency to dig through my trash pile just to make sure I didn't miss anything, or if I change my mind about how I want to build something down the line, if I come up with a more efficient method to do so, I may dig through my trash pile and say, hey, I need these tiny little pieces. Well, now I know exactly what they look like because I took the time to make them look pretty. So in the case of these, I think I want to go the route of disconnecting these. I really like that this ring is already attached here when Pepakura does things the way you want. Thank you. Question, why are you doing this? I mean, why are you doing the cosplay in the first place? It's something I do, Dwef. I'm a cosplayer. It's just something that I do. It's a hobby, it's a job, I get commissioned to do cosplays. I like the game, I like the character. I want to be Mike sometimes, you know? You don't ever have a desire to be Dwaf? Let me connect these over here. Because I shouldn't need any of this junk here. You want to cosplay as me? We'll get cracking then. You gotta start building it now. Okay, get rid of all that trash. So I can get back to working on this. Get this nice little spiral pattern we have going on here. A little circle of beauty. Okay, so this is going to be my pattern for the top of this thing here, which looks really wonky in here. And like I said, I'm going to cut out a piece of foam. That's probably going to be this guy without the nubs on it. Yeah, I guess it has to have the nubs on it. So it's going to be, I'll connect these pieces in the laser cutter. So I'll have one copy that's all of this circular piece. And then I'm going to have another copy that's this piece here. And then when I come to, I'll just glue those two pieces of foam together and I will slice out all of these things with either a razor blade or the soldering iron. So that's done. Don't need any of this junk right here. Actually, I can use this base. I can use the base for that guy right there. Okay. Trash. I need 2 of that one and 2 of that one. Trash. Trash. And then I don't even need to, honestly, I can get rid of this hole in the laser cutting program, or I can leave it there and just have a perfectly cut hole inside of that. I don't even need to cut it out, but I think I would rather solder it, just have a nice little dimple in the middle. So I'll probably get rid of this in the laser cutting program. Okay, that one is completo. I need to get this trash cleaned up. This one didn't. Ideally, it would have done that number right there. Okay, it's. I don't even know what it did, honestly, at this point. You there. You there. You there. This one. There we go. Okay. And this one has no back to it. So this one may actually only be 1 deep. 1 piece of foam deep, and these are two pieces deep. That'll give us a nice little difference in our 2 star pieces. Boop. Okay, so these are our multiple cut pieces. And this guy, alright, I gotta make sure that working on this one here. So by double clicking on that, it actually highlighted the polygon in here. So if I double click on this one, it'll highlight the polygon on the inside. So that tells me which side I want to keep, which is this side here. So let me just go ahead and disconnect that and throw that up here so it's kind of in the trash pile. Not yet. And I don't think I need depth for any of this, honestly. I will keep the first layer so that I have a guideline to work off of for slicing my extra little bit. So like I don't need that piece. I can go back onto that. I'll just keep that 1 layer around here. And do I want to keep it on the inside? Yeah, I'll keep 1 layer on the inside. That's going to be right there. So I don't want that. But I do want that. And just like that, this piece is pretty much done. There we go. I can stay like that, that's fine. This. There we go. Trash. Boop. I'm actually gonna rotate that just so it fits better in the trash pile. Boop. And we need 2 of those. So that one's done. Very, very simple piece. So you can see how something that looks maybe complex in polygons and really narrow it down to a really simple piece when it comes to the foam. I should cosplay as Jithri. I don't know if I'm up to that challenge. I'm not good at... I would have to like mold his face and put hair in it and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and save here. Alright, so we've tackled all of the easy parts, all the parts that are already separated from the gun. Whew, and we've already started separating them into specific piles so that we can navigate them easier later, or leave notes for ourselves so that we can figure out what we need to do later after we're done with this pattern if we need to make any additional patterns. I'm going to go ahead and take a pause from the stream again and start a new YouTube video because next time we're going to be tackling this monster right here. Some of you are going to be like... You've been waiting for this moment because you have no idea where to start on it. I will tell you how to start on it, where to start on it, how we're going to work on this. And it's going to use tips that we used earlier in the stream. So, thank you for watching!